welcome back to the Leaders in Construction podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Patterson, and today we've got a very special guest joining us, Justin Oakley, the founder of Oakley Home Access. Justin has built his company that's become a leader in the home accessibility and aging in place solutions, from stair lifts to ramps to full home safety assessments. His team is helping people stay independent and safe in their homes. Justin, it's great to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you so much for having me.
No worries at all. So let's start with your story. How did you get into this space and what inspired you to start Oakley Home Access?
Well, great. So first I have to say I am the co-founder of Oakley Home Access. My partner is Michael Vieira. He is the construction equipment technical end of our company. We are nothing without the other side. What I brought to the table, what I bring to the table is the medical side, the healthcare side, as an occupational therapist by training. So to get us started years ago, oh God, it was got to be 12, 13 years ago, I was working as an occupational therapist in a clinical setting. It was what is commonly known as, here as a nursing home. Although technically it's a short-term rehab facility. So man, folks would land under our care for any type of injury, illness, any type of event that gave them a setback where they needed to get stronger, heal. And as an occupational therapist, I'd work really closely with all the other disciplines, the physical therapist, the speech therapist, the nurses, the doctors, the social service folks, to try to get these folks home. That was always the goal. They needed rehab, but the end result was always home. So we would oftentimes provide home evaluations where we'd bring them home for test runs. These folks they'd get back to Command Central, but they'd have to promise to go back to the facility to continue their rehab once they got home and comfy. But they'd go through all the motions and we'd identify the problem areas. You really need a rail there. Those stairs are trouble. We're going to maybe need to talk about a ramp. We got really good at identifying problems and saying, you could have this, should have that, need that to go home, sir. And it was a while of doing these and really getting and good at identifying things, where I finally one day went to my social service director and I said, Christine, what happens with all these recommendations, all these reports? I make it rain with these reports. I give them to everybody that cares. The family, everybody gets a copy of this beautiful report. And her answer is why I'm here, Daniel. She said, well, we kind of hope they have someone handy in their family.
Oh, you're kidding.
And I mean, that my heart dropped, my jaw dropped, and I just said, to no fault of her own, to your own, Christine, that's just a disservice. We're giving these folks this information, the tease, and then we're saying, okay, go get it. And we're relying on handy people to do this very technical stuff that they may be able to build a house with a bare hand, Cousin Eddie, but Cousin Eddie's building houses with his bare hands. He doesn't have time to go figure out where a grab bar should be or a handrail should be, or by no means is he a stair lift dealer, an electric stair lift dealer, but that's just too much to ask. So I reached out to my now longtime partner who had been a childhood friends of mine. Fast forward 10 years, where our home office is a stone's throw away of the go-kart, Adventureland, mini golf place that we worked at together.
Awesome.
Back then, I was on the megaphone, starting the race, saying and messing around on the megaphone with my speech, and he was in the back fixing the go-karts. So now you fast forward 10 years, 11 years, and 25 years from that, but 10 years since we've started the business, and here I am talking about it, talking about our offering, talking about the value of what we offer, and he leads the team in actually doing it, getting the work done, executing all the installation. Now, Daniel, you fast forward 10 years, it all started with the grab bar. It needed the grab bar in and out of the shower, and it's gone on to full bathroom renovations, elevators, ceiling lifts, ramps, anything you can imagine for aging in place, increasing accessibility, and creating fall prevention. We haven't invented a single thing, but we've discovered hundreds of items and brands that are commonly used to help people in that way. So it's been a lot of fun. We offer a free home assessment that's built on that assessment. The foundation of our company is that assessment that I used to do at the nursing home to see if we could get folks home. And then now we're offering it for free. We're probably in 10 to 12 homes a day with the assessment, and then another 10 to 12 homes a day doing the actual work. So it's been a lot of fun in this niche, but we have a lot of great partners and a lot of good people working for us.
That's awesome. So one thing I do here
Yeah.
is it is a very specialty niche.
Yes.
And having your background, I mean, me as a construction, I've installed plenty of these things before, but a
Yeah.
lot of them, like especially the grab rails and things like that, they really need to be done pre-plaster. They need there needs to be foundations for it to be stuck on. And I have gone into many places and they've just stuck it onto the plaster and be like, yep, should be right. But I mean, the second that someone elderly or someone disabled does go in there and try and grab that, it's not really. They're not really set in properly. You have
Yes.
mishaps with them all the time. So I think that's awesome that you've seen a need and you've partnered up with someone to fill that need because it is a very specialty thing that not a lot of people would know about it. So when you first started, what was the biggest challenges in getting traction?
It's just that it was that trust factor, that buy-in from not only the general population, but the healthcare providers. So we were asking because I knew that there were 85 of the exact settings that I was working at. There were 85 versions of those in Little Rhode Island, which is, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Rhode Island, but 30 by 30 miles, just about 30 by 33 miles is how big we are. And there were 85 nursing homes packed into that place. So I knew the market was literally on my lap. It was right there. And I thought the moment I told each of those nursing homes that we had this company, and yep, I thought the phone was just going to ring nonstop. Oh my God, I thought we were going to have to just hire people left and right. And I went to, at that point, it was my wife as a primary care provider in the community would scream us from the rooftops, and my partner, my now partner, Michael, it was the three of us really. And I looked at them and said, what's going on, guys? We have like the cure for cancer here in a bottle, and all they have to do is call us. What's happening? It took time, Daniel. It took time to prove ourselves. It was therapists would, when they had a personal need and their father or uncle or grandfather for the younger professionals had a need, they'd say, well, we know these guys have marketed to us for our patients. Let me try. We really need it for my father. Help them. And then they'd say, wow, that was incredible service. What a difference. Let's use them for our patients. Or once we would get that in that home, that first home from a patient, and then that feedback to the therapist, then the rest of the patients. And it just spread like that. And it took a few years for us to get very busy and consistent, but it's that no quit, that just, yeah, people are going to say no. Sometimes we'd go to a receptionist and we knew for a fact all that literature that we just gave her was going right in the trash. It was not getting to a decision maker. So we learned and we pivoted and we bring cookies now. And we got to know the way to the heart. So it's a lot of strategy, but our marketing strategy has always been relationships with people, with trusted authority figure people. I mean, we work with builders all the time. We know when a builder says, it's just like the healthcare. We know when someone has a builder that they trust and they say, we're going to bring in Oakley Home Access for the elevator. They say, okay.
I know those guys.
Trust them. They say, you trust them? We say, yep. Then that's great. Same thing, doctor or therapist. When they say, mom's got that broken hip, it's going to be hard getting up and down the stairs. They do this. They give the RAC card. You call Oakley Home Access. They trust them. Well, I trust my doctor, so I'm going to trust the company that they mentioned. Yeah. So it's really that hybrid, that yin and the yang of healthcare and construction that we've just married, and we're trying to be leaders in the industry of that aging in place niche. But man, it was the trust factor. You
Yeah.
have to prove yourself over and over. And then now you fast forward 10 years and it's more digital as well as that personal recommendation. It's yeah, all the therapists, we tell them send the patients to the website. Send them to the Google reviews. We're up to 137 five-star reviews. And these reviews, Daniel, are not just click 5 stars and be done. It's they pour their hearts out for us. They get into it when they take the time. And all my reviews, I reply, thank you so much for taking the time for the heartfelt review because it's some of the stuff is intimate. The folks that may have built their homes 50 years ago with their bare hands are now just fortunate to have simple things to let them stay there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And it's a very personal thing when you're dealing with people that are coming out of nursing homes and things like that. It's family, so it's not like you're just going there and changing a light bulb or something like that. You're actually doing things that matter. So that's huge. So looking back,
yep.
what was the biggest turning point for the business so far?
You know, it was a long time ago, but I'm going back 8 years now when Michael and I made our first hire and we realized that yes, we were experts. And for a while, we were like, nobody else can do this. This is just us. The 1-2 punch forever. And we just realized, and we went to a business consultant and we said, what's next? What are we doing here? And he said, he told us about, creating job descriptions, creating roles that you can delegate. And what we did was at that time, the phone wasn't ringing every day. So we did not have the work to hire someone full time and have them busy all the time. So it seems like a small piece of advice, but it's a huge deal that we do with every position now. Supplemental duties. What will keep this employee busy when they're not installing things? So it was cleaning the vans, it was preparing handrail, it was dozens of things. And that gave us the confidence to create a role and hire someone. And that someone was now Michael Sullivan. Now he's our operations manager and is our top line of defense. And we have 22 of us full time. So he has a great position here. Fast forward 8 years. But when we had the confidence to hire him, he essentially took my place and the role of a second hand while Michael was doing all the installs. Yeah. So I'll tell you, Daniel, the moment I was able to schedule an install at the same time as me somewhere else in the state doing an assessment, I was like, wow, we just doubled our productivity right now. Yep. Holy crap. And then now we have 4 installation teams. We have 4 occupational therapists that are doing the assessments. So the productivity just grew and grew and grew. And then it all goes back to your question, that one hire, bold hire, because we did not have the work for it. But that one hire, and then now, since then, we've made a living out of hiring people that are better than us at things. Our tile guys are better at tile than Michael. I don't know if he'll admit that, but the idea is that they're better than him. We're guys that can build houses, and they're better than us at it. Our outreach representatives now that make the relationships, they're better in networking rooms than I am because they're going to talk to you about where you got your nails done and where you got those trendy glasses. And I don't care. I just want to tell you about my grab bars. So that was very important with our growth. So it's people. Trusting people to execute your vision is everything. And now we got 22 great people that, it's a for-profit business, Daniel. We're making money. What we're doing, we're paying their mortgages. We look at it as 22 people, but there's 72 family members involved in those 22 people because they each have 3 kids, all that. We do that math.
I love that you know that fact.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to take care of.
Yeah, that's awesome. So one thing I pull from that is, which is something that I talk about a lot with clients of mine and people on the show, is you need to free up time to not work in your business, to work on your business. So by creating a role, even if you don't have let's say 38 hours a week.
Yep.
You don't have 38 hours a week, and let's say you can consistently fill out for 30 hours a week. Create that extra 8 hours to keep that person busy, because
Yes.
you will get that return on investment tenfold, because you're no longer stuck working in it. You were freed up to now drum up business to, guess what? Not only create the extra 8 hours or 10 hours that you weren't first able to
Yep.
supply for your employee, but now
Yes.
you've grown to 22. So this is a prime example, guys. And listen, it's coming straight out of the horse's mouth right now. Is you need to free up time to be able to work on your business, not in it. So that's a huge takeaway from there.
Yes. And trusting that you've created enough of a blueprint and processes by being in it so long.
Yes.
You created it, so you were in it, and you had to be in it for a while. But creating the processes and procedures enough to say, okay, now delegate that, and you do it, and you're probably going to be better at it than me with the structure. And then, yeah, work on the business. Then you can take the 30,000-foot view and then start polishing those procedures, making things better, making the phone ring more, to exactly what you said, fill those hours.
Perfect.
Yep.
Let's dive into a little bit deeper on that. What things have you automated, or what procedures do you have in place for the business to run smoothly? What do you use any AI products to
Yep.
help with that, or let's dive a little bit into that.
Yep. So first off, before certainly not before AI existed, but before AI was mainstream in 2018, 19, a big pivot that we made, which again, it was business consulting, talking to experts about scaling, about if we wanted to scale and become a larger company, it was software was the first big need. So the fact that it's not so much AI automated, but it's setting follow-ups in the software, that is the next move. We tell all of our staff, you shouldn't remember anything, but you should document everything. And in that documenting in our software, it's on September 24th. On October 1st, I'm going to email Daniel Patterson and thank him for the podcast last week.
Mhm.
I'm not going to remember that. And then on that day, it's going to hit me in the face and say, hey, send that email, and it's now that is 25 to 50 calls a day our customer service staff is making. And it's generally follow-ups on proposals that we've sent out.
Yep.
Hi, Mrs. Smith, do you have any questions about the proposal? Very soft. It's not telemarketing. We're not hounding them, buy now or else. But it's education, and we're doing that across the board. Anything that you need done, we want that to be automated and to tell you about it, and you not to have to remember it. So that's not really AI, but it's software, it's technology, it's moving away from the legal pad that I started the business on, that we started on. Okay. So that's for relationships and end users. We use the software. AI, we've started to use, Gemini within the Google workspace. Gemini is our friend. So on a very basic, it's, polishing emails on a very basic level. More advanced things we'll do is, routes for visits. So for instance, if our outreach representative is in, we're going to keep it very simple, like Providence, Rhode Island, and she's got 2 hours, she can throw into AI, all right, take me to every senior center, nursing home, and outpatient PT clinic in a 10-mile radius, and I want to stop by Dunkin' Donuts on the way to the second stop.
Yep.
And they're going to route that out so clean, and it makes our time very efficient, and our staff is still just blown away by the power, and things are easy. And you know what, Daniel? They come to the meetings and they're like, oh, I used AI to create this mess, and they almost feel bad. And I say, you still did it.
Exactly.
You used a tool like we use drivers and tape measures and nail guns. You
Mhm.
used a tool to create the product. And I was like, you still did it because you put in good prompts. If you put in crap prompts, the output was going to be crap.
Yep.
So we like to just teach folks how to use the AI to help you, and don't be ashamed of it. You still did it. You just used a tool,
Yep.
you know?
I mean,
So,
AI is coming out whether people want to use it or not.
yeah.
In the next 5 to 10 years, it's not going to be whether you use it or not. It's
Yeah.
just if you don't use it, you're going to be left behind. So
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't agree more. So let's talk about some bottlenecks then. You've got
Yeah.
systems in place. You automate as much as you can. But let's say we had an influx of work for you of let's say 50% on top of what you're already doing. Where do you
Yeah.
think breaking point would be for you?
Geez, so meaning like which department type thing? I think the first thing that would break, and I wouldn't say break, it would just extend where we can't go. So I would say technician, the install staff would be is the first thing that we always need to grow. So we've went from, Michael as our only installer to now four full teams of two gentlemen, two technicians based on the market need. So in our industry, we can't say to folks, we'll be there in 4 weeks for that grab bar or that ramp. That's a lot of falls away. They're going to fall a lot of times or wait outside their home or not go to doctor's appointments a lot. So, yes, for our renovations, we can say 1 month because those aren't as I need it yesterday, like your line of work, more the renovations.
Yep.
Now, with a lot of the healthcare folks, it's chasing a discharge home. Well, the insurance is going to stop paying us in 2 days. Okay, well, let's get it done. Let's make it happen. We want to know as soon as possible when that person comes into the facility, we want them to give them our card,
Yeah.
which with all the education, that's come a long way. So to answer your question directly, the moment we are booking out more than 2 weeks for a green light on a ramp installation, we've got to hire people. And maybe next year when we're talking, it'll be 5 full-time crew, 10 full-time technicians, because we started booking out 2 weeks and we can't. We want to be 1 week. We want to be on Monday, still trying to fill folks for Friday because we're able to turn stuff over so fast. That's it. It's when the market indicates that, because we wouldn't break, we would just say, yeah, we're out 4 weeks for that ramp. And then people would be going elsewhere. So maybe it would break. So good. Yeah. The market, the lead times dictate. And then, yeah, if you add 50% of our leads and our green lights, we're adding a technician, or we're probably, if we were to add that much, we'd probably almost need 2 teams if we had that much influx. Yeah.
Yep.
But growth is good. We embrace growth.
That's what I like to hear. So when we do talk about scaling then, now that we're on that subject, what do you think's holding you back from doubling the business in the next couple of years?
Doubling the business. So 4, 8, our building size right now, as I look around, we were for a while shopping for a new location. My location, I can almost see my house. It's about a half a mile from here. So I don't want to move personally. We are on the ocean. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Rhode Island, but Narragansett, where we are, if you look it up on a map, some other industry partners have said, or people in the marketing industry have said, half of your clientele is seafood, meaning when you draw a circle, half of this is the damn ocean. Nobody's calling it from the ocean. So, but it's really nice here. We really like it. And the folks that are here are striving so hard to age in place. So I guess we are thinking now of the property here that we own to renovate the building and to maybe add 50% square footage to our now footprint. And that would help us double in size. Our marketing, we would maybe have to invest more in outreach to double. And then we've been doing a great job in product expansion and offerings and always being on the head of the curve. So that allows us to grow all the time. And then people. Yeah, I'd say just people. So I'd say nothing's stopping us. We've been growing at a nice steady 10 to 15% rate the last few years, even though our numbers are high. Like the first couple of years, we saw 400% growth, 200% growth, and then now things have steadied off as we're at a nice respectable clip, I'd say. So yeah, we get asked every day about capital, about money. We've historically only had to take, we only have loans on our automobiles, so on our fleet and on the mortgage on this building. We don't have anybody else's money. We've bootstrapped it all. All of our inventory is our inventory. But folks ask us about money every day. And we fortunately we get to say respectfully, no, thank you. Folks ask us to buy us just about every day, whether it's private equity, family owned operations, individuals, merger acquisitions. So there's two or three large national players in our industry, in our niche industry, that love to eat up and scoop up companies like us. We're the only ones. We're a little enticing for them. We're the only ones that incorporate the medical model, the
Nice.
OT. Everyone thinks we're silly for paying an occupational therapist to go to a home to measure for a railing. We don't look at it that. We look at the entire experience. And Dan, you know what? You gotta pay salespeople too.
Yes, you do.
So
On that note, what is your marketing strategy at the moment?
so we love the digital marketing piece because of credibility. We our main marketing strategy has always been and will always be, in our opinion, relationships with healthcare providers and folks involved in the housing industry, architects, builders, realtors, things, interior decorators. Those relationships are what's going to make the phone ring and create leads, because all those professionals work with our people that need our services. The digital marketing side, it's twofold. Half of my digital marketing efforts, and I'm talking like our Google profile, all those reviews I done, the website, email marketing campaigns, all that, half of it is, yes, to generate leads. And for folks going in saying ramps or grab bars, which is rare, but it happens.
Yeah.
Most often, they're going to a trusted healthcare provider or their builder or their realtor or someone trusted that we have a relationship with, and they say, Oakley Home Access, and then we tell them to say, send them to our website to really learn for themselves. And then they read and read and read, and hopefully they're impressed, and they read the reviews, and hopefully they're touched, and then they call and they trust us. So our marketing strategy, yes, there's digital marketing presence, no question. We want to be ranking first on all those keywords, but it's really the relationships with people that keep us going. And then a big thing, quarterly, we give cookie platters or fruit if they request it, but that's rare, for any place that makes the phone ring once in a quarter, whether we do work for that person or not. If they tell one person about us and they call us and we do an assessment, they get cookies. So our outreach rep, they're known as like the cookie ladies, and the cookie, like, where's the cookies type thing. So expressing gratitude for your partners is big. Yep.
So I'm hearing lots of cookie bribery is right up the top. But look, just I'm going to touch on what you were talking about for
Yeah.
the listeners at home, because you are spot on. Look, the market is changing in especially the home remodeling world, but everywhere across the board. So I'm going to spit out some numbers for the guys,
Yeah.
for the people at home. But so 89% of digital research first. So prospective clients engage in extensive digital research before initial contact. 89% require visual proof, and 73% expect instant response times. Like, this is the thing that we're moving over to, is the digital world.
Yeah.
That's super important, guys. So take notes. Like you said, start doing this stuff, guys. I mean,
Yeah.
the digital space is a necessity now. So huge, huge, huge information there. So thanks for sharing.
Especially in the general population, the general remodeling, no question. People are all hours of the night shopping, looking. And then, so your point to your question about AI, Daniel, when you're in that immediate response, I like that. We don't have the capacity for immediate response. There are AI plugins on the website for folks that are competing against other remodelers. And if you don't have the healthcare niche and it's marketing, and you don't have people to answer the phone around the clock or even during the day, if you're out building and you don't have someone to answer the phone and you return your messages, that night or the next day, there are AI bots that can immediately respond as you saying, yes, happy to get you on the schedule. And then Builder Nick can have that base covered and then have an appointment almost set up for him without having to really engage with him. So AI with builders is taking it by storm, especially saving a hire for a person if you don't have a ton of day-to-day reception going on. So that's what made me think about AI when you said immediate response.
Yeah, so I don't have the exact numbers in front of me now, but it is a huge percentage of people that actually lose jobs for having a response time that is longer than 2 hours. Because in this day and age, with everything's at the access of your fingertips, you've got your phone on you 24/7. You're so used to this instant gratification. And if your reply rate does blow out, I think 2 hours is pretty much the sweet spot. But after 2 hours, you lose something like 60, 65 or 67% of people without having that response rate of under 2 hours, because people think, oh, well, if they can't even get back to me in the first 2 hours, what are they going to be like when they're actually working on my house? So that is a huge one. I think response rates are absolutely massive. So I got a bit of a follow-up question on that. Well, it's not really a follow-up question on that, but what is your long-term goal for the next 5 years?
Yep. Great. So at this point, we have created a franchise model. So we spent a lot of time creating the package, the blueprint, the operations manual to recreate Oakley Home Access in another location. So with that in place, we now have 2 locations up and running. So we have New Haven, Connecticut, and we have Greater Boston area. So between the 3 locations, we're able to cover all of Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. Growth plan and strategy is cautiously add franchise. Now, when we say cautious, we're going to be cautious with the people and the why, the who and the why. Who is it? Does someone like yourself that has a construction background and is personable and has empathy and cares about people? That's who it has to be. Or a medical professional that cares about people and wants to help people. One of those pillars we're hoping to find for the next location. And we're not looking to have 200, but several, we think, within arm's length. So we look at places like New Hampshire and Maine and New Jersey and New York. That isn't terribly far, but also, far enough away where we would not be able to service from here. So we're excited about that growth. Again, we're cautious. We're not trying to scream it from the rooftops and try to sell to anyone. We always say, hey, if you're between Oakley Home Access and McDonald's, then you should go with McDonald's, because we're not McDonald's. And there's nothing against McDonald's. They're incredible. But it's a service and it's a niche, and you got to love it and you got to be passionate about it. So that's our story. That's our growth plan. Maybe another location in Massachusetts or Connecticut that's management run. Maybe like a Cape Cod type thing where we would have another office and still operate from here. And then, of course, adding to our staff. I could see, 5 or 10 more people with the way we've been growing over the years.
Awesome. All right. So this is a final question that I like to ask everyone. If you have a magic wand to do something in your business, whether that be more lead generation, whether that be automated systems, whether that be anything that you can think of, what would you use that magic wand for?
I would wave that magic wand towards the legislation leaders, the government leaders, and there would be a lot more funding for this equipment. With that magic wand, Medicare and insurances would look at our equipment as medical necessities versus what they look at now without the magic wand. They look at it as convenient items. So Daniel, you can imagine when people call me, they're like, Yeah, I just want a ramp because it'll be a little easier. No,
Like that.
because they freaking need it. They need it, Daniel. So that would be my magic wand, is if government officials, decision makers on policy side, insurance side would understand that our stuff that is in its infancy, nobody knows about our stuff. So that's why I truly thank you from the bottom of my heart for this platform and all others that are having podcasts and TV and radio spots for us to educate the folks that the world that these things are commodities. These things are easy to have. And it's not like we want to break down the stigma that, oh, it means you're old and handicapped and dying if you have a ramp or a stair lift. No, it means you're empowered and you're living in the house. No, I don't walk up the stairs. I take a ride up the stairs.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mr. Johnson across the street, he had to move to the assisted living. I'm staying here because my Cadillac that brings me up the stairs. Own it. It's cool. So that's what we want to scream from the rooftops. And then more on a serious side, the funding side, when policymakers with insurance that are paying for things, if they can look at the preventative things as medical necessities, folks will have this covered. And it'll be more red tape for us. It'll be more challenging for us to get paid versus Mrs. Smith writing us a check. But we'll do it. We'll go through those steps because we know not all of Mrs. Smith's have the money in the account to write the check.
And that's it. Prevention is always much better than a cure.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
beautiful. All right, Justin. Well, it has been an awesome conversation. Thanks for sharing your story, giving us a look into the work of Oakley Home Access is doing. So, for anyone listening who wants to learn more, head over to oakleyhomeaccess.com. They even offer free home safety assessments, which is a great way to start. So, Justin, thanks again for joining us. And for our listeners, don't forget to subscribe to the Leaders in Construction podcast for more conversation with leaders across the industry. And yeah, before we go, I'd like to just open the floor up to you to shout out anything that you're doing, all your social media, your website. I know I mentioned it, but the floor is yours. Take it away.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that, Daniel. So what I'll do is I'll just share. We are on all the social media platforms. It's kind of who we're talking to, who our audience across them all. I mean, oakleyhomeaccess.com is, generationally inclusive. Anybody that can navigate a website can learn something on oakleyhomeaccess.com. Our Instagram page is very active. Usually it's the younger healthcare providers that are on there looking at solutions, looking at resources for their patients, for their parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, for folks on the Instagram. Facebook, Daniel, a little bit, getting a little older generation. So a lot of times our end users, the folks that need us, are on Facebook learning all about us. Adult children as well. 40, 50, 60-year-olds that are taking care of their parents, the sandwich generation. They find us on Facebook. We have resource groups through Oakley Home Access on Facebook as well. And then LinkedIn, professionals, builders, architects, healthcare providers across all professions. We love to be very active on LinkedIn to share about our journey and our mission. So all those platforms are great. And then anyone that happens to be in Narragansett, Rhode Island, you can always pop into the showroom. And Daniel, if you're ever down here, you can ride the stair lift. If you're ever down for clam cakes and chowder, you can come ride the stair lift, try out the ramp, jump in the elevator, have some
I
fun.
would love that. I was actually in Rhode Island not too long ago. So, yeah,
right.
Awesome, guys. All right. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one, guys.
All right. Thank you.